Hey there, whippersnappers, it's Tortimer the Great. Welcome back to an exciting new series, something I'm calling Showdown Subdays, which is going to be coming out on Sundays. Get it? It's a pun! Anyway, this is something that you guys actually brought to me. I think it was a sub called, a guy called Hyperspeed, who mentioned in one of my videos at some point, he wanted to have something where, you know, subs could interact more with, like, the channel. And you know, thinking about it, you know, I'm like, you know what, that could be a lot of fun. And a couple of you guys glommed onto it in the comments and everything. And so, a couple weeks ago, over the last couple weeks, I've kind of been throwing out there, hey, let's do this thing. And so I presented a challenge to you guys. I said, hey, let's do a Magikarp sweep, because I figured that was something kind of classic, a classic thing to do. Figured there are guides out there on how to do it. I figured it'd be a nice, easy one to start off on. But man, so yeah, you guys, a lot of you guys tried it out. A couple of you actually succeeded and sent me things. So what we do with this series is we put out a challenge. Myself and you guys go out and attempt to do that challenge on Pokemon Showdown, and then you send me the link to your Showdown replay, and then I can record and do commentary and stuff over it, and then we put it out on the channel. So you guys get to go out there. This particular battle comes from my good friend Erin Cerise, who you may have seen commenting on many of my videos, because she's a very good friend of mine who's been with me from the very beginning here on YouTube, and so yeah, this is her attempt to do a Magikarp sweep, and so she comes in here and she decided to do it in Little Cup. I didn't really put any restrictions on it at all or anything, but she decided to do it in Little Cup, and so it's a lot more difficult in Little Cup, as you guys will see that I'm able to attest to here in a minute. But yeah, so she came in and she did all kinds of setting up and everything like that. Her Torchic here is pretty well buffed, and then at this point she's going to baton pass into her Magikarp, and Magikarp's going to take a hard return and hang on with his Focus Sash, and he's going to flail Fletchling, and then Drillbur's going to come in, and he's going to flail the Drillbur, and then they're going to flail the Apom, and she gets lucky here that the Apom doesn't have Fake Out. Really, these things are very much based on luck, especially on Showdown, because especially if people see you get a sweep going, or they see you trying gimmicky things, oftentimes they'll just forfeit. So as hard as it is to do a Magikarp sweep, it was even harder, I think, for people doing it to actually accomplish a challenge without somebody forfeiting or something ridiculous. So anyway, we got a couple of battles here, so let's jump into the next one, shall we? Alright guys, time for my attempt here. I let off with Morel, my Shroomish. I don't know, the Sandshrew was faster. I was hoping to get the Spore up before it did Rocks, but it did not, so I switched into Bottles, and Bottles is going to throw up the Rapid Spin to get rid of the Rocks, but then Spinnerack is going to throw up the Sticky Web, which is like, so I go ahead and I Rapid Spin again. Spinnerack goes for the Poison Jab. It doesn't do a whole lot, and so I think I get Bottles out of there because he's poisoned and he's done his job. And Spinnerack switches out too because they realized they weren't doing much to Bottles, so that worked out nicely. Brought in Morel, and then they brought in Bellsprout, so I brought in Quark, because Quark is going to set up the hazards I want, just to, you know, make sure things go smoothly. Quark takes a couple of hard Sludge Bombs from the Bellsprout. Will not wake up, but I really don't have. I need to get these hazards up before I start my thing going. So there we go. Quark finally wakes up. I get the Rocks up. I get the Spikes up. All the while the Bellsprouts sword dancing, which is frightening, to be sure. But at least at this point, he doesn't have Chlorophyll on him. They do have the Vulpix there, but I don't know. They brought him in worrying about the sleep. I guess they forgot that Sandshrew was already asleep, that I couldn't put something else asleep. But at that point, I brought in Torchic, getting ready to set up my Swords Dances and everything, forgetting that, oh wait, I've got to get Magikarp I got to get him down to his Sash first, because I intend to baton pass a sub to Magikarp, just in case of any priority or something as well. So now I've got this Bellsprout who's got 4 times attack. Azula comes in and gets poisoned by the Sludge Bomb. I'm able to set up a sub. They threw the Sleep Powder down, which is obviously misses because of the sub. Oh man, so I'm able to get my Swords Dances going. I'm getting some speed boosts going, which is going to be really helpful. I decided to do it in Little Cup just because I know like you can do it really in any tier. But I decided to do it in Little Cup, but I had to do a little bit of, fancy maneuvering because normally you would use like a Smeargle to do all of this stuff. The Spore and the Rocks and the Sword Dance and the Sub and the Baton. I mean, so, well, whichever 4 of those you want to do, I guess. So yeah, they go for the Sucker Punch there at the end, and it allows me to Baton Pass out. And then my Magikarp comes in, and Rocks is doing good damage to everybody, but the Flail is too OP, and thankfully they don't seem to have any priority here. It's always like in Little Cup, it's so hard because there's so much priority out there, and there's so many ghost types. You got to get find a team that doesn't have priority, doesn't have ghost types, and so it is a challenge to do. But I love Little Cup, so I wanted to do the challenge in Little Cup, so I had to be a little more fancy with the way I got all of these things done. But I think it was a lot of fun, and Magi is just going to sweep through the team there and take him out. So yeah, I don't know how long I mean, I know. Well, you guys know. I mean, you guys did the challenge or attempted the challenge at least, and all that. So yeah, let's take a quick look at another 1 or 2 here, and then we'll lay out the challenge for next week, shall we? All right. Alright guys, welcome back to battle number 3. This will be our final battle for today, and this one comes from us from subscriber Scadrel, and he decided to go for his attempt in OU, which I think was probably a more typical attempt given that you have access to Smeargle, which you'll see him bring out right now, and he uses Smeargle to set up a lot of the buffs that you saw Aaron and I having to use multiple Pokemon to do in Little Cup, which makes it a little bit easier to do in OU, but he did end up having some challenges. I think there's probably a number of factors that led to that, but his attempt here is not going to be a successful one, but he did, I do thank him a lot for sending me his best attempt, because otherwise we would have been really short on stuff for today, and so I appreciate him sending me his best attempt even though he wasn't able to actually complete the challenge, which I know a lot of you guys had trouble with. I saw a number of you saying, I know like Thunder and a couple of other you guys said that you were trying it out, but you just were having a lot of difficulty, and so this one ended up being a lot harder than I expected. I think, Magikarp sweeps are hard enough to set up without, because there's so many things that can kind of screw things up for you. And also, on Showdown, people are very, very prone to just forfeiting, like this guy just did. They forfeited, they could have easily swept through this team, but they saw them doing something gimmicky, and so they decided to just quit. And so that's very prevalent, especially in OU, so, it's difficult. But thank you guys. Thank you, Aaron and Scan, for sending in things for me to put in this episode. And for all you guys who attempted but weren't able to get something completed to send me, I thank you guys for at least giving it the valiant effort. But yeah, so again, thank you guys. Now I want to tell you guys about what next week's challenge is going to be. This one comes from Aaron Cerise, whose battle you watched earlier. She suggested a nice, easy one for us, so I think we were going to do that given how hard this one was. But she says we should do the Rainbow Challenge, which she described as each member of the team representing a different color of the rainbow. But, 1, she says no shinies allowed, and 2, she said, Excadrill's not going to be the red Pokemon because it has red on its chest. This Pokemon needs to be predominantly that color. So, like, Gengar could be your purple Pokemon. I see Gengar over on the other team. Or, Magikarp could be your red Pokemon. Or orange, I guess, whatever color Magikarp is. But they need to be predominantly that color. It can't be, oh, there's some green on Smeargle, so he's the green Pokemon. Even Ninjask has a yellow head and a black body. It's very multicolored. We want it to be, specific to that color. But yeah, so that's the challenge we're going to be doing. Any tier, just as long as you got multicolored, every color of the rainbow, and no shinies in it to do that, all natural colored Pokemon. So make sure you guys attempt that. Put your links, your Showdown links in this video when you get those, so I'll find them here, and I'll put those in next week's episode. And also give me comments on which challenge you would like to see us attempt, like to see me give you guys for not this week, not in this coming week's episode, but the episode after that. So just like I'm doing now with the Rainbow Challenge, I will give you guys another challenge that you guys have come up with at the end of last week's or next week's episode. Sorry. But anyway, thank all of you guys for participating. I think this will be a really fun challenge for all of us to do, and I look forward to seeing your submissions. As always, I've been Tortimer the Great, and you guys have been great. Have a good one.